Hello viewers, it's a wonderful morning coming to you from QTV. I am Ibrahim Abalde. It's good to be back here. It's Tuesday and very soon we'll say bye to the month of October. And well, the year is
actually
really,
the last day of October.
2024 is fast approaching. And I'm with Julde Njai. Julde, good morning.
Good morning, and I already introduced myself.
Yes, I can see that.
Good morning to you, Balde. Good morning to our viewers from wherever you're watching us from. It's always good to be back on this show to discuss interesting stories around the continent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And our paper review guest today, it's no other than Mr. Carr. Good morning, Mr. Carr.
Paperless review. Anyway,
Paperless
good morning.
review.
It's good to be on the platform,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
as always.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. Like I said, Julde, I mean, it's we are almost in November now. I mean, I think a day or tomorrow will be November 1st.
Yes, it's the first. Today is the last day of October.
Exactly.
And tomorrow is the 1st of November. So things are really going fast.
Yeah.
But what is not really going fast is the temperature going down. I'm seeing that this time around is really hot, and at some point I'm even wondering if this time around we will have the winter season coming anytime soon. Because last year, I think by this time it was winter already.
Yeah.
But it's November and it's still very hot.
Still, yes.
So that shows you the impact of
It's
climate change.
It rained this morning.
Yeah.
Around 2 o'clock, it was raining heavy.
Yes,
I don't know whether
yes, I've realized.
You did, I did. You know, I woke up and realized because there was heavy wind blowing, and I'm thinking, wow, and it's heavy downpour. It's not like drizzles or anything.
Yes.
So the climate change is evident, as we can see, because this time of the year we never used to experience this type of, you know, weather pattern. But, you know, I think human beings should really wake up and realize that there is something happening to the nature, and we are responsible. We are the ones that are causing the issues that nature is changing. So the sooner we take action, you know, the better. Otherwise, our extinction is imminent.
Absolutely.
Well, not soon though, but you know, it's obvious that it's our responsibility to hand over to the next generation, you know, what was begetted to us, which was, you know, in relative terms, you know, a relatively stable kind of natural environment with the flora and fauna protected. But now the species are almost extinct for a lot of them.
Very rare species.
And nature have to have that balance because we are interdependent. That is why we have the food chain. If we remember our biology classes, the food chain is there. So even the insect have a role to play, the tiniest. There is a role that he has to play in nature. Burrowing, sometimes you find a small insect going about its business and you're wondering what is it doing. It's burrowing the soil where, you know, it can make it fertile for plants to grow, which we can use. So there is that pattern that I'm so Julde is smiling, recall, remember.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, I went to a school.
I mean, it's like Mr. Carr, you are really reminding us our school days. I mean, it's more of agriculture. I mean, you're teaching us agriculture.
And you know, for us at St. Peter's, it's not like they're teaching you the theoretical perspective, but the practical aspect of it. You have to have your own garden where you grow your own crops and then be watering them every day and all of that. And if things goes wrong, like sometimes we compete as to whose garden is the best amongst us. So it was really nice, really. Those days, St. Peter's.
So I think memory lane for Julia.
Yeah, it was.
So give a hi to your friends and classmates.
Yeah.
So let's look at the African proverb. And,
okay.
Julde.
So our African proverb this morning, I don't know which African country it is from because it's not mentioned. Zimbabwe. Yeah. Okay. So we are from Gambia, Senegal, and now Zimbabwe. So it reads, do not laugh when your neighbor's veil is on fire.
And you have to explain what veil is for most people because it's spelled as V-E-L-D, which means
a farmland or an empty place which is occupied by people, but it's not people living there. So it's just an empty land, you know, where maybe crops are grown.
So you should not laugh at your neighbor's farm catching fire. It's like when the rain falls, you know, it doesn't fall on one man's house. So when this happens, eventually, next would be your farmland. So if you are laughing and you did not take any action to help put out the fire, then, you know, it will be your turn next. So in life, you must not laugh at other people's predicament, you know, intervene and help, especially if they are your neighbors, you know, because it's very important to reach out to neighbors. They're the first people that would hear your cries. So therefore, I think it's applicable in that context. I don't know.
True. Absolutely. I mean, we talked about the effects of climate change in our environment. You know, for those who are not affected by it, they might not I mean, maybe some of them are, yeah, some of them, Mr. Ka, I don't know if whether you believe or not. There are people that, you know, they don't take the issue of climate change very seriously. But they are affected. They are practicing deforestation. I mean, at some point when you tell them, okay, climate change is real, they'll tell you, look, these are trees grown by God. At the end of the time, they will grow again. So, I mean, people are taking it lightly. So it's telling you, because you are not affected, doesn't mean you shouldn't do something about it. So I think this proverb is talking about that. You know, I don't know whether I made sense or not.
You did. Absolutely. I think I will have to plagiarize what you guys say. So it's about being conscious of other people's feelings and well-being. Because you're not in a particular situation and your neighbor is in that situation does not mean that you will not be in that situation one day. So that is why always as neighbors, especially as people, if we are living together, it's important that we show empathy, respect to one another's feelings and what people are going through. You can't make a joke of people's situations and then go about, you know, tarnishing their image whilst you don't know anything about what is really going on. So it could happen to anybody in life. That is why it's good that, you know, whatever people are going through, do not take it lightly or do not make a joke out of people's situation, because it could happen to anybody. Today, if I lost my neighbor or I lost a family member and you are laughing about it, someday you could also lose your own family member and, you know, the tables are going to turn. So that is why it's always really good to be empathetic whenever situations happen, rather than just making fun of people's predicament, like Mr. Ka said, you know. Yeah, I think that's it for me. Like I said, I'm going to plagiarize what you guys said.
Well, it's about putting yourself in another man's shoe. I mean, you know, to be able to gauge that situation. If at all this was my situation, what would happen? So it's better, I mean, to intervene and do certain things before it gets out of hand. You never know what will happen. You understand? So I think that is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, now we'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll look at some of the stories making headline. We'll be right back.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. 5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected, juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Yeah, so we are back. This is QTV this morning. And if you're just tuning in, we've already dealt with the African code, which reads, do not laugh when your neighbor's world is on fire. And now, Julde, please take us to some of the stories.
Okay, I have the Standard with me, Point, Fourier, and then the Voice newspaper. So one headline on the Standard newspaper that really got me thinking is former presidents to get lifetime pensions and office. You know, pension scheme in this country is another issue. People are going through a lot. People are complaining a lot when it comes to pensioners earning a lot. Some of them are saying that they earn a little. Some of them are saying that what they are even earning cannot even change their lives. Some of them, once they pension, they are going to struggle because they can't really take care of themselves or their families. So, but this one, if this bill is really enforced, by the parliament, it means that former presidents are not just going to have their pensions, but they are going to have an office space. They are going to have bodyguards. They are going to have 2 or 3 staff that are working for them, and they are going to have a full furnished compound for them.
Yes.
So that's really.
So just to add on that, before Mr. Carr come in, I mean, we all know how pension schemes are, paid in this country. Sometimes when a pensioner goes to receive their funds, I mean, if they tell you, this is my money that I receive from my pension, at some point you will be doubting whether it's true. You understand? I think before they looked at former presidents, issue, I think they should strengthen the issue of our grandparents, our parents' pension before they give all these things. Because the president has been enjoying a lot of things. So let them also strengthen this one. Mr. Carr, I don't know.
Mr. Carr, please help us with that.
In Africa, we have been experiencing a lot of issues with regard to people staying in power for too long. So in order to assure them and ensure them, because head of state, a president, is not an ordinary position. So for those people to be assured that there is life after the presidency, in every country you have to be given certain remunerations that are not ordinary, and I understand. My issue in this instance is why they make it retroactive, because former President Jawara, who would have deservedly entitled to all these things, it's no issue. But with President Yahya Jammeh, with considering that the things that he have done and he hasn't been tried yet and all these things, I think they could have started with just now rather than making it retroactive. Because that guy, until he is tried and all things are clear with regard to the allegations leveled against him, I don't think he is entitled or deserving to receive any of those things that are remunerated there. So that is my issue with the bill as it stands. But they can reframe it, restructure it in a way that it would start as of now rather than make it retroactive for former presidents. It needn't be.
For me, I think presidents are enjoying lots of privileges already. So for you to leave office and then still enjoy those privileges, and whilst ordinary Gambians are suffering, really, I think they should really look at that. If it's not, I'm not sure if it's yet at Parliament. It's not tabled yet. It's just at the cabinet level. So, but really, I think it's left to the National Assembly members to really scrutinize this bill, just like the judiciary, what they did and all of that. All of these pensions and all of these benefits given to the executive. I think we should really look at it as a country. We should not focus, development should not be focused on only one person or a section of people. It should be cross-cutting. The national cake should be shared evenly by people. So it
even if it's not equal, at least everybody should get a slice. So like you said earlier, the pension scheme should be looked at. But there is a fundamental problem with the pension scheme, because most Gambians really, I think I did a story 2 years ago about this pension scheme and all of that. But I've realized that most of the workers in the Gambia are not even registered with the Social Security. They are not entitled to it. They are entitled by law, but their employers will not give them the money. And most of them, their monies are deducted from their salaries, but it's not been paid.
That would be illegal. I think that requires we invite the Social Security so that they can clarify as to what they do in terms of enforcement and in pursuit of those things. It's important we invite them.
Well, I think you made a point there. It's significant for them to come on the program. At least we'll give them the opportunity to enlighten people about the pension scheme and all these contributions that you are doing. And I mean, I've learned at some point as an employee, you have the right to go and claim maybe a half of your contribution at some point. I mean, all those things
are clarifications.
All those things need to be clarified.
Exactly.
If they come, maybe they
but for the issue of the privilege to be given to former presidents, I think it needs to be looked at very well.
Okay. So this one, Kenya joins Gambia to become visa-free for African visitors. Yesterday, the Kenyan President, William Ruto, announced that Kenya, by the end of the year, would be visa-free for all African visitors coming to Kenya, which I think it's really a good initiative, because the African Union really, since 2016, they have been working towards ensuring that there is visa-free for African countries. lots of money is spent outside of the continent because of the failure of the African Continental Free Trade Area, because the AU agenda has not been really implemented for the fact that African countries should really allow visa-free, in their various countries. As such, the continent is really losing billions every year.
Yeah, the spirit of Pan-Africanism is really just not there.
It's just
really. It's a lot of rhetoric, but the fact is, if you look at Europe, you go to the continent, mainland Europe, that is excluding the United Kingdom, of course, is no longer part of the European Union. You can go to any of the countries once you are there. There are no borders. It's borderless, more or less. If you go to, because I went to Germany, in Flensburg, which is a border between Germany and Denmark. You just cross over. We used to go for weekend to another village, not far off from Flensburg, and Abendra, and they will tell you this used to be the border, and there is nobody there. So I don't know why we cannot in Africa implement that in this day and age. We should be able to travel within Africa, without all these restrictions. Yes, there should be monitoring in terms of criminality, because criminals take opportunities as such, in order to perpetuate or commit their trade. But then, that should not stop the spirit of Pan-Africanism. So that, like you said, free trade, it will just add more value to things that we do and progress.
Yeah, well, because even Dangote is quoted as saying that he spends close to 38 visas, traveling just within the African continent, and he said that he spends millions every year just to travel within the African continent and then to explore. So I think, initiatives such as this, Kenya is really doing well. Gambia, let's not forget, our very own Gambia is visa-free for all the African continent.
There are no barriers. They are welcome in Gambia without visa. So we are amongst the few countries in Africa that already have that.
Yeah, Seychelles, Seychelles, Benin, Gambia, and now Kenya. We have 4 out of the 54 African countries. So we still have a long way to go, really. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good one. It's a good initiative. I mean, that should. I mean, Africa, we should be able to move about without any hindrance or any other issue. At some point, when you look at the free movement of goods and services within Africa, I think the people of Africa should respect the rules. I mean, that are set at some point. I mean,
states more like
exactly. But it's really difficult for one to travel to other countries.
But it's a surmountable challenge if they respect the protocols that are being signed regularly at the, there are a lot of bilateral, multilateral agreements in terms of movement, but they are not respected. And this is where we feel, where we don't respect the rule of law, we appendix our signature to things and we don't give them due respect. Then it's pointless.
Well, that's the thing. At some point, people won't have confidence again, even if you signed a memorandum of understanding, so you sign agreements. Mr. Carr, at some point, this is just connected. We were talking about introducing the echo, I mean, the echo currency at some point, whereby you can go almost most of these African countries, you can spend the echo. But still, that cannot be passed. Do you think the echo would be the ideal thing for Africa?
Well, it's very difficult because there are a lot of issues that they'll have to look into. One, the Francophone zone was a major impediment to the implementation of the echo, according to my understanding. 2, also the alignment of the taxes for different countries because they collect, and also the imbalance. But EU, like we said again, were able to achieve it despite all those challenges. They were able to come with the euro. So there is no reason why within our sub-region we cannot come with the echo. We've been talking about it for decades now, and it's about time that they had lots of conferences, many agreements, hopes, then they are dashed, they are shelved, so they come back. I don't know, but I think it would have made economic sense considering the fluctuation of our currencies against the dollar and, the trade imbalance, and how we are affected. It would have strengthened all of us together so that we can have a purchasing power in the world market to be able to compete. But on our own, individually, you cannot do much. So you are at the, mercy of the fluctuation of the dollar.
True.
Look at Nigeria recently. They were almost having a downward spiral that was, it's alarming. So we should come up with something.
Well, it's serious. I think that fluctuation
and they have
is
to
really...
even collaborate all the way to Germany recently. The German Chancellor was in Nigeria for them to form bilateral relations to help Nigeria really revive their economy. So I think, like you said, within the continent, we can do it.
Ghana
we have lots
as well.
of Ghana
was experiencing the same things.
Exactly.
So if we support each other, we trade, we use the singular currency, that will just strengthen us. And they ought to work on it with sincerity. But there is lack of political will, there is lack of sincerity within, the ECOWAS, community. So therefore, all these things are not going to happen, at least not in the immediate future.
Okay. So moving on, this story still on the Standard. It's on all other newspapers. That is, UDP denies dismissing Rohey Malick Lowe. It was have been a letter that was circulating yesterday, alleging that Rohey Malick Lowe has been dismissed for having connection with the NPP. But we've seen that the UDP authority or the spokesman have, come out to say that, that is not true. Rohey Malick Lowe is a key person in the UDP, and she contributes a lot in both nationally and internationally.
That is why news should be filtered, because of, in this day and age, social media, somebody can just come and throw something out there. But the fact that their party have come and categorically deny it is no longer news, because that is the source that is to be relied upon as, to this, the reality of what was, being bandied about. So.
Well, it's sometimes these are rumors. I mean, the way they circulate information. But I think, considering that relation that Rohey Malick Lowe have with President Barrow, I mean, as you know, she calls him my brother. You understand? So I don't think there is something wrong for a party to be able to interact with another party for nation development.
Tolerance,
there is nothing wrong with that. But the way people portray things sometimes, it's the problem, Mr. Carr.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, there is inter-party relationships, but this is like they were saying a cross carpet, which is not the case, because UDP is very categorical about it. So it's no longer news, because they are the ones until some new development. That is the position that holds officially.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
So the other story is breast cancer is now #2 behind cervical cancer in the Gambia. #2, whether in deaths or the cases we are registering, that's not clear. But we know that of recent, Gambia has been registering lots of cases as far as breast cancer is concerned, and we've been saying that it's October, the pink month. Lots of activists, nurses, doctors, the health sector, journalists, everybody is involved as far as awareness creation is concerned with regards to breast cancer and cervical cancer.
I think early intervention is the issue here. They should be testing women, very early in order to capture it, and that would help. But if you leave it too late, I think it's good. We saw in this month there were a lot of, charity organizations inviting women and then doing all these tests to give them, the results of. So it's important. This is ongoing and regular. I mean, if you go to the Western world, at a certain age, women have to go to test regularly to find out, so that they can find. So it's important. Early intervention is always the case.
I think that is often the problem here. Not just the disease, but for the fact that people are often reluctant to go out there and then get themselves screened. Just last weekend on Saturday, I was at Serekunda covering breast cancer, organized by the women.
The woman boss.
Women Doctors Association of the Gambia, and you could see that they were literally forcing people to come and get themselves tested for something that would benefit them. So it's just the awareness and then the notion that people have, okay, maybe sumagine tele and and all. No, it's just getting yourself tested and know your status quo is very important. Don't just, I can't believe that someone will come to you and say, let me test your health conditions and see your status, and then you're still reluctant about that.
It's the stigma. I mean, how people portray, you at the end of time, the way people look at you. I can remember during the president treatment, the other time when he was saying he treats HIV. There was a woman that people point at all the time, you know, when she came on TV, national television, that she is HIV positive. And, you know, people pointed fingers at her. But I don't think that's an issue. A person with that disease happens to tell, okay, I am this. At some point, I think the person is brave enough, I mean, to come on national television.
But in the screening, they would not reveal as to your status because there is that confidentiality between doctor and patient. So you will just be screened, then you will have one-to-one with the doctor who will, you know, talk to you and advise you as to what it is. So it's just about ignorance, and people have to be enlightened so that they can take the opportunity where it's available to go and test. It's no harm knowing your health situation.
Yeah, so we will recognize the efforts of C3G. I mean, they're doing very good when it comes to providing free breast cancer and cervical cancer screening for especially women, you know. So we need to recognize their efforts. They are doing very good, and we thank you for a job well done. Yeah, so Mr. Carr, this is all we have for you, you know, on the newspaper review segment. Thank you very much. Until tomorrow, inshallah, we'll invite you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, so viewers will take a short break. After the break, the program continues. We'll be back.
Go, Ebeda full network, Sudatili, QCell. Ni lafta diamala wati jamala mune diata, QCell. Most reliable network, Dumala geta wati, QCell. Wo quality man yon soda jam, ona manke QCell. Hanibe ulo ni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network o se taria, QCell, Sunibus. Nyofinjeka indi 3G, New Dellu Taxi 4G Plus, and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Sunibus. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Sunibus. Gambia bela nyon tawo fele QCell. Sunibus. Ko fasunta buka busi QCell. Sunibus. Itella multi milka kukutol nati Gambia QCell meta lori la kilianol yele imanyina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell Sunibus. QCell Sunibus. QCell Sunibus. QCell Sunibus. Connect solo be bambandi QCell Sunibus. QCell most innovative QCell Sunibus.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunibus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Wherever you're watching us from, this is QTV This Morning. We are back, and now let's go to the second segment of the program, the Association for the Mentally Disabled, you know, commemorated World Mental Health Day. That's last week. So we have Lamin Dibe here, Program Officer, Association for Mentally Disabled person. So, Mr. Diba, you are welcome on the platform.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for this particular opportunity.
Yes, it's good to have you here. Julde, it's significant for us to talk to Mr. Lamin Diba on this platform because there is a lot of things going on. I mean, mental health is real, and people are going through a lot, you understand? Mental health goes beyond the person who undress and walk maybe naked in the street. It goes beyond that, you understand? So people need to understand the issue of mental health very well to be able to know what mental health is. On that note, Mr. Diba, take us through what mental health is.
Thank you very much, my able presenters, and thank you very much for this rare opportunity, like I said. First of all, before going straight into the program, I want to acknowledge the efforts of the Ministry of Health in our line, as our direct line ministry when it comes to activities with regards to mental health. Mental health generally, it's a condition like you've just said. During an interview on TV, I said, mental health is beyond physical health, and there is no health without mental health. So everything starts within us. That is our complete state of mind, the psychological, the spiritual, and the social, to be able to deal with every component, stressors, our work, and things we do. If we are able to completely comport ourselves with all situations and completely get off without any breakdowns, we can count ourselves being mentally balanced at some point. As we go, me, myself, her here, and you, we all have different level of resistance. We all have different level of thresholds. For example, what I can take in a particular situation, take care of it myself and get out of it, and what she can and what you can are completely different.
True.
So mental health, like it is now, not later. As I said, we need to give it the attention that it completely deserves. Coming back to the Association for the Mentally Disabled Gambia, we are able to go this much far when it comes to advocacy for persons mentally challenged, because we got that enabling environment from onset as far back 2004. But of recent, I want to also acknowledge the efforts of the National Mental Health Coordinating Unit for trying to bring all mental health stakeholders to one forum to operate as a federation in a way to completely coordinate and synchronize activities. Because we've seen several times we have either replicated efforts or there are gaps here and there. So I want to acknowledge them for that effort. And the World Mental Health Day that we commemorated this year, it is as a result of their coordination, us taking the lead and having most of these civil society organizations within. So briefly, this is what we do when it comes to mental health, advocacy, capacity building, and also engage our policyholders when it comes to certain legislative documents and certain environments that we deserve for persons mentally challenged. I will want to stop this brief introduction here. As we go in, when certain questions are asked, then I will respond accordingly. But briefly, this is what and who we are.
This is what, yes. Julia?
Yeah. So take us through the association, when was this registered, and the main aim of the association, because we want to know really what you do in order to get to the bottom of this, because like you said, we are having lots of mental health issues in the country, and really whether it has been given the necessary attention or not, that is a topic for another day.
Okay. As an organization, the Association for the Mentally Disabled Gambia, we are, and I can authoritatively say all the time, the longest serving mental health advocacy group, established as far back as 2004. In our core areas, we focus more on capacity building, awareness raising, advocacy, and community sensitization. Because when it comes to mental health, we know its condition is beyond the health facilities.
Yeah.
Everything cannot be done in the health facilities.
Absolutely.
Going back by statistics and the facilities we have, we only have one psychiatric hospital in the Gambia. Looking at our population, let's say 2.5 or 2 million exact, is it completely possible for all the mental health conditions to be treated at one central hospital? It's not. What are our referral procedures? Do we have that adequate facilities to deal with all of these things? So as an organization, we focus on some of these areas. And our style of advocacy, like I said, as an organization, we don't just magnify issues or challenges, but we participate in finding solutions to some of those issues. That's why we collaborated with the Mental Health Leadership and Advocacy Program some years ago, conducted series of activities starting from national situational analysis, going down to training health facility staff to incorporate mental health within primary health care. Also developing tools that we call the image gap, which as we speak, within facilities, nurses are able to use as guides towards dealing with persons mentally challenged. The other component that we've also successfully done through the program in collaboration with the Association for the Mentally Disabled, and Tanka, of course, as the only psychiatric hospital is, we also try to have mental health focal presence that is nurses trained and at certain levels at communities where at least they can be able to see certain patients refer them appropriately to the right channels before they are completely admitted. Also, as an organization, we engage with our traditional healers. When it comes to mental health, we believe knowledge around it cannot just be limited towards the conventional medicine.
Absolutely.
So what we do is try to balance, strike a balance between their practice, ethics, and the human right component of it. We engage them at several levels to make sure they understand these are boundaries for treatment. You cannot go beyond these limits, even though you are treated, because they also have human rights.
Absolutely.
So we've done all of these activities, and we will continue to do these activities. As we are speaking now, we are completely focused on the mental health bill that have been standing somewhere, somehow, since 2019.
Really?
Mental health leadership and advocacy program, the Ministry of Health, through the mental health coordinating unit, we've all done significant efforts towards pushing it at a particular level, where we will always say we constrain budget-wise, we will do our quota, talk to people, write to projects, and something is done. So if we are able to push up to a level where we need to put it as a bill, I think it's our collective responsibilities to make sure this thing is passed and is given the adequate attention.
Exactly.
I said this, I'll continue saying it, and I will reiterate that again. Today I'm seated here, presenting, talking about persons mentally challenged, what their welfare is, what their rights are, what we can do. You and I, we never know, will we be the next particular person in need of that. If I'm not able to sign or pen my signatures towards a particular policy or a program that is going to protect me tomorrow in case, if I come the particular victim, I have myself to blame.
Absolutely.
Not just that as well. When it goes to other countries, we've engaged Liberia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, no matter how complex and populated it is, they have appended that signature and they have a mental health bill, and the advocacy work within, people are still giving it the attention it needs.
It deserves, yeah.
So I said Gambia, as the country we are,
should not be an exception.
We should not be an exception. So we should keep the ball rolling and let's address what is to be addressed on time.
Exactly.
So that tomorrow we'll not be running helter-skelter for certain things that were to be done when there was time.
For me, really, I think that the reason why I even asked in the first place when the association was registered, because I really wanted to know, some of the achievements that you've registered. But not just that. I think the most important achievement that you will register as an association is making sure that that bill is passed at the National Assembly level.
True.
Because without a bill, without a law to guide the process of mental health, really not much can be done about it.
Blindly.
We've been having only one psychiatric hospital in the Gambia.
For a long time.
Tanka for far too long, and now we are seeing there is a rise in the number of mental health cases in the Gambia. You don't need a statistician to tell you that we are having an increase in mental health cases in the Gambia. It's evident, and this can be attributed to lots of factors. Others experts are saying that it's attributed to drugs, which are most of the mental health cases in the Gambia is attributed to drugs. So what are you doing also as an association? Because experts are saying that most of the mental health cases in the Gambia is attributed to drugs. What are you doing to raise awareness in the issue, about drug and drug-related issues as far as mental health is concerned?
Thank you very much for that particular question. I will just briefly touch on when you said the legislative and how far we have gone as an organization towards achieving the ratification of the bill or the signatures of the bill. As we are speaking right now, through the mental health coordination unit, Mr. Suare, through his office, significant efforts have been done, including technical support from WHO. To completely have this particular bill pushed to another level. We are still waiting for certain confirmations and engagement to get to that level. But statistically, Gambia as a country, taking it from the 2007 WHO World Health Development Survey for specifically mental health, the statistics, anytime it is said, it's alarming. Let's take this. This 2007. 2007 to date is how many years?
So many years.
We know we don't even have complete up-to-date statistics when it comes to persons mentally challenged, but it is visible, like we said, everywhere. Stressors will multiply every day. Social pressures will multiply every day. Our job and our hustles every day will completely rise every day.
Absolutely.
So as we are not taking care of our mental health, we might be the next victim. That is for free. We like to acknowledge it, we want to acknowledge it or not, that's the fact. The other thing as an organization, what we do, or what we continue doing, and what we will do, we've constantly been engaging on sensitizations and trying to make people understand. We will not wait until the condition is there, try to treat it. Mental health treatment is expensive, not just in the Gambia.
It is.
But prevention is far more cheaper than treatment. We make them know these are things that you need to do to keep yourself mentally fit. These are things you need to avoid to go mentally ill. I remember a particular engagement we have at Buyam, at the General Hospital, with the management and few community members. We were talking on mental health. We've gone to a point where we identify some risk factors which are triggers for mental health problems. A very bold old man came up. We don't have that problem in our generation. Look at yourselves, review yourselves. Today, any one of you who had just small, you will put a big fence, a security guard. Even before people see you, sometimes it's a problem. You want to confine yourself too much to yourself that you are not interacting with people,
socialize.
not socializing.
Yeah.
There will become a time, these little components that we are neglecting will have an impact on us when you need people.
Absolutely.
Yeah? So deinstitutionalizing mental health treatment is key in our agenda, because we know how stigmatizing and discriminating it is. If you are completely broken into a psychiatric home, then back. Like they will always say, kii dafa musoon na am feebaru xel.
Duñ la musa téye nit ku wér.
Exactly. Exactly. They will always use this statement. Da nga wax sax, some people will be signaling, mu ngi waxaat xam nga ne dafa musoon na. And these are realities. Nobody can change. As an organization, we are doing our best to completely deal with these issues first at community level. Going to Serekunda General Hospital, the mental health focal person there, and doubling as an addiction officer who is completely seeing a lot of patients. And in a discussion with him, what he actually said, there is something alarming that he is every day seeing. I don't know if we are all seeing it. He said every time at his counseling unit, you will have very young people, migrant returnees, young people, like you just mentioned. Drug-induced psychosis is key. We know that, we know the trends when it comes to certain periods, how it rises, when it comes to certain periods, how it comes down. But now, it's not even gender bias. The way it is affecting male is the way it is affecting female. Do we ask ourselves why? If drugs are easily accessible, alcohol is easily accessible, other substances are easily available that people are using either for recreation, to cover up, to at least face certain situations. These are temporal solutions. For example, I want to be on TV. With my own self, I think I can't. So I try to take substance to comfort myself. It is just for a period. As it goes, what happens? I'll start panicking. I'll start manifesting certain styles. If I want to depend on this particular condition, how long will it take? I'll end up being addicted.
Exactly.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, I remember there were particular periods that some of our people, some of our members, Dauda and co, we have collaborated, and we will continue to collaborate to deal with certain issues. Enforcement is definitely important. But what do we do as a country to avoid drug misuse, to where it will lead to mental health condition? What are we doing to completely rehab people who are particular victims of some of these situations? So these are gaps that we're not just identifying as an organization, but we will participate towards bridging them. Before giving it back to you, in one of our National Mental Health Stakeholder Council meeting that we had at WHO some time ago, I set a particular condition. I said something to say, as a country, we are seeing the influx of different nationalities, which is okay. Migration is a normal phenomenon. It's natural. It must happen. We've seen returnees as well who are coming. What has been the reintegration package?
Absolutely.
Have they been completely taken care of?
Which has been a challenge.
Exactly. Have they been completely reintegrated? That's one. Okay. The first influx that came some time ago, from the airport, we have our specialists in a way who receive them from the airport to Friendship Hostel, then going through a particular program. That program in itself is holistic. You can't rush it for a temporal solution because the effect will come back. You are to reintegrate somebody successfully, mentally balanced, and keep him back to the communities. And it is done haphazardly, left in the communities. What will actually happen is, what we are all seeing.
Depression.
People will be depressed, crime rates will be high, and we will all be seeing very, very strange conditions that we can find facts for. During the World Mental Health Day commemoration, a particular nurse came, said, okay, this is the second report of person mentally challenged killing somebody. Within a very short period, was it 1 week, I stand to be corrected, or 2 weeks? At community levels, let's get back to our communities and see how abusive some of them are, not because they want to be. I am used to a particular way of life. I have been exposed to a particular thing. All of a sudden, without preparation mentally, that's broken. I'm taken from A direct to C. Mentally, we all have different level of resistance.
True.
Can I resist that strange changes from one environment to another? I was taking care of myself economically, not depending on anybody, and even helping others. All of a sudden, that is broken. I'm giving $200, for example. I'm back. After 1 week, I can't even afford to take breakfast for myself. I have to ask you, and which I'm not used to, I can't. What will happen?
Depression.
I'll be depressed.
Exactly.
As it continues, my needs are every day not happening. What will happen?
You will run
well,
mad
that's
at
the
some
problem.
point. So that's really the problem.
So these are realities that we need to share with each other and find tangible solutions together. Then we can.
So how do we handle those situations, Mr. Debo? I mean, how do we handle them?
Yeah, those situations, as we speak, as I said, as an advocacy group, we don't just magnify issues. We participate in trying to find solutions. As we are talking right now, we are trying to put together. We've had our first meetings, our second meetings, and subsequent meetings will be coming, where we are bringing all mental health players, advocacy, and program guys. As we are speaking through Child Fund, country office, the communication specialist, and I must acknowledge the special attention that the director is giving to it, that is the director of Child Fund, because we don't have any child and adolescent mental health services in the country. And they are one of the highest victims right now as we're talking. And we have put together a central technical working group, which is already working. We have in our meetings, and we'll want to open this forum very, very open and free to every participant or every player who has that same interest with some of these issues that we have, because together we can solve it. The government can't do it alone.
Absolutely.
We have to be able to see certain things and play our part and bring it to the attention of the government. Then they will also respond. So this technical working group, we have identified thematic areas that need immediate attention, and we will continue working on those. The drug cases, one thing that we will collaborate with the National Drug Enforcement Agency, the child and adolescent mental health through the addiction officer at that particular place, Serekunda General Hospital, who is a member of the technical working group. We're dealing with it. But under the leadership of the National Mental Health stakeholder, that is the National Mental Health Coordinator, and the psychiatric hospital also, Mr. Bakari, who is also within. We have put this team together to completely deal with this. Not to also forget our engagements with other embassies, Turkish embassies and few diplomatic corps. There are certain things that they are ready to do, and we will further push up to see those gaps are bridged. We've started engaging Tanka with regards to some of those things. And as we speak, I know it's a national attention, and the government, through the president as well, have given it that premium for where Bakari will be.
So aside from engaging key stakeholders, the ministry or the UN agencies, what have been the contribution at the local level, grassroots level, as far as advocacy is concerned? Because I believe that, Balde, lots of people are depressed and then leading to their mentally imbalanced status because of really the contribution of society. Some of the time, most of the time, society has a key role to play as far as mental health is concerned. Most of these people are running mad. You just see them, they are normal, the next day they are mad because they've been going through a lot.
The society.
They are not sharing, and the
plays
society is
a very
contributing a lot. So I think really, what have been the contribution as far as awareness creation is concerned at the grassroots level?
Through our organization, when it comes to the community level, we've engaged different communities, but notwithstanding, we've also advocated for communities to have social groups where certain social issues will be handled within. That is to prevent loneliness, to prevent being not within a particular group, to deal with certain issues. At community level, what we have done through the mental health leadership and advocacy program is through the mental health traditional healers. We've used them as an entry point. I will say we've engaged them as an entry point, where they will serve as our voices in the communities and relate certain issues to the community and community volunteers. But what we encourage most is voluntarism, people coming together and share problems. Because mental health issues don't just start one-off. There are stages that it will be. Absolutely. People who you are close to can observe, can detect that. And our role as colleagues, as peers, is not to trigger or multiply that, but instead help bring those people back. You know Mr. Cisse as this particular person, Mr. Diba as this particular person. He loves taking care of himself, he loves his job, he loves this. All of a sudden, you are seeing Mr. Diba maybe, if you meet with him, one of the coughlin's are out, the sad is a bit thought. You know he obviously takes care of himself. Those are key indicators.
That
only somebody close to you or the community can detect
I can remember there was a young man, I mean, I wouldn't mention the name.
Of course.
He was a very responsible young man. I mean, we live in the same area together and, you know, well educated, well behaved. There was a day, I mean, we saw him walking barefoot. I mean, in the community. He was going around saying things that are not normal. I mean, it persisted, it continued for a few months, and it became very, very wild. It changed, it became, I mean...
society must have contributed.
I once witnessed a conversation between him and my little brother. My little brother sat him down and said to him, "Do you know you are not mad?" And the society, they are saying you are mad. You are not mad. He said to my brother, "Am I not mad?" My brother said, "You are not mad."
Yeah, sometimes you need that reassurance.
What is happening to you? I mean, you need to find out what is the root cause of your these actions. Do you know you are walking barefoot? He said he doesn't know. He doesn't even know.
He's not aware.
But at some point, with that comfort, at some point now I am seeing changes. He's now behaved again. He's been married now. Very responsible. He's going back to his business. You know, so at some point, if he doesn't have a person who talks to him like that, next minute you see him in the streets.
No, it will, because like he needed that. You will talk to the person and you feel like the person can comfort you. But if they are making, okay, maybe it's just one-off situation and you are depressed, you are confused, you don't know what to do, and you're walking barefoot. And everybody else is, you know, pointing fingers at you. The person is mad, the person is mad. So gradually, as you go, then I feel, okay, man, I'm mad.
I'm mentally challenged.
I'm mentally challenged. The battle with yourself. So that battling with yourself, that is what will lead to your mental imbalance. So man, for me, I really think, honestly, if you're doing your advocacy too, I think you should advise people also to take care of their mental health, to take care of their own sanity. But they don't allow anybody to steal your sanity away from you.
Well, there are times that, you know, you tend to care about people until you lose yourself in the process.
Yeah, so that's it. Take care of your mental health. It's you, it's your sanity. So you should safeguard it. Everybody should safeguard their mental health and sanity. Because
once you are gone, it's finished.
People
Society will
they
say, don't do it.
You always be labeled.
They la depressed law. They la wasi law hamnedal. Okay, you send into something else, and then you're mad. You know, you're out of the way. Then you send Bopa. They are the same people that will come back and say, okay, do the farmer, do the farmer, and they will not try to help you find solution. I think so.
Yes.
I'm solo really. That aspect of it, I think you should really focus on that. You know, advising people to safeguard their sanity. It's not worth it for somebody to take your sanity away from you. Really.
Let's do this in the local language.
Just if
you comfortable with Wolof?
Any language
Okay.
I can handle. Just connecting on the last point, that is, comme gis nga bala anybody di dem be am feebari xel comme niñ ko waxe am na fu mu day commencé te ñu ni neen ñu nekk within the same environment ñoo mën a xam loolu ñoo mën a gis loolu si our colleagues, our friends, den jàppale comme Balde lu mu wax ni léegi kooku noonu yow koo xam nga jékki-jékki gis ko mu doon dox tànki neen di dem he himself buñ toogoon wax ak moom dégg nga lu mu wax moom yëgut ne woon sax mu doon dox ak tànk
man dama waaru bu mu ne xaw ma maa ngeen doxee tànk
he will not know at some point
I was surprised
waaye ñoom ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi dëkk ak moom gisoon nañ loolu te am na ku nga xam ne kooku la gën a taxal kooku noonu war naa di teg loolu kooku noonu war naa mun a nekk si booram di wax ak moom gis nga feebari xel ak nu mun di mel waxoon nañ ko dinañ continuer di ko wax lopitaan bi du solution lopitaan bi mënut koo def ñoom yi neen an balaa lopitaan bi lu bari ñu ni neen ñu toog si suñ kër yi si suñ dëkk yi waroon nañ ñooy mun a defalanteel lu bari
absolutely
balaa ñuy dem si condition bu nga xam ne dañoo jël suñ loved ones yi bàyyi leen si either a psychiatric home ou dañu danaa jël beeru leen because dañ foog ne dañ am feebari xel feebari xel luñ ko dee waxee jombut kenn man mi toog di wax kuy seetaan léegi nii from the next minute nu mooy mel kenn xamul ko
exactly
so nañ bàyyante xel comme lu ñu doon waxtaan buñ commencé ñu ngi doon wax ne su demee si Gambia bi fii ñun as an organisation lu ñu doon def ak lu ñuy continuer di def mooy dañoo waxtaan ak nit ñi won leen ne xel ñun si suñ boppa ñoo war a mun a def jël i jéego pour suñu wéri xel
absolutely
keneen du ñëw defal la ko waaye ñu ni neen tamit il faut ñu méngoo in a lot of ways pour duñ am that particular breakdown kenn mënul lépp moom kenn balaa ngaa xam ne mënuloo demal ba the little thing boo soxla at a point koo gën a look la loo ëppoon maybe kooku moo la koy
provider waaw
yeah so yooyu noonu dañ koy bàyyante xel trop as we go
waaw so thank you mu ngi mel ni rek time bi jeex na I mean dañ ko extend sax pour ñu mun a def loolu si local language bi yeah so Julde this is all we have today
until tomorrow
yes we'll be back here tomorrow again inshallah for another program.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, Mr. Diba, for coming on the program, and we'll follow. Anything that you want to share with us too, we are open.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so thank you very much, viewers. This is all we have for you today on QTV this morning. Until we come here again tomorrow for another interesting program. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of our programs.